First, ignore all that mess. I already see you typing in the comments. Just pretend they're not there. But today I'm going to show you how I built this studio desk that is height adjustable. This video is sponsored by Flexispot and their electric height adjustable standing desk frame Pro series, but more on that later. So one thing I'm always on the lookout for on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or yard sales or surplus sales or anywhere you can find used junk are solid wood desktops, countertops, tables, workbenches, anything big, flat, and made of solid wood. For example, my dining room table is made from an old art table. My office desk made from an IKEA top that some college kid was gonna throw away. This thing, an old workbench top that has definitely seen some use, and I do plan on building a workbench out of it at some point. And this thing, which I'll be using in today's build, I got it from a surplus sale. They said it was from a local college. It looks like it's never been used. It's in like brand new condition. I do have the legs for it, but they're not really the style that we're going for, so we'll deal with the legs later. Do I do it? I've been hoarding this top for like 3 years now, so it's a bit dusty, but it's 5 foot long by 30 inches wide, which happens to be the perfect size for what we're doing. But if you do buy or find a top that's too big, they're easy enough to cut down. There are a couple screw holes on the top, and I thought about cutting out some plugs, but these are so small and this part is going to be covered up anyway, so I'm just using some wood filler. And with the filler dry, I can sand them flush and then sand the whole thing. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but the clear coat is a little bit uneven and there's also a few light scratches. So I started with 80 grit, then went to 150 and then finished up with 220. For the top coat, I'm trying out Odies Oil, which seems to be pretty popular these days, so I figured I'd give it a shot. So with the top done, I can now start on the hutch, a must for any studio desk. On my desk, I added a floating hutch because I wanted maximum storage, but for this one, it's nothing fancy. It'll be a 2-bay with 4 rack spaces per side. This piece has the factory edge on it, so I like to rip that off just because usually it's a bit rough, but then I'll flip the piece and cut it to width, which in my case is 12¼ inches. And later on, I'll be adding a face frame, which will make it 13 inches total. Then over on this totally factory original chop saw, I'll cut the top to size, which is 40½ inches, and then the 3 uprights, which will be 10½ inches tall for the rack spaces. And this hutch isn't too complicated, but I will have a cut list listed down in the description. Then I can drill all the pocket holes because that's how I'm gonna assemble it. There's gonna be a face frame on this once I assemble everything, but the rack rails will cover up these screws. And then of course, once you have gear inside of the rack, all of these other ones will be covered. And before assembling, I'm gonna add edge banding to all of the sides that will be exposed, which is basically just the sides of the top and then the backs of all the pieces. And with that done, I can screw it all together. Before I add the middle section, that's not the middle section, I want to make sure that I cut this right. I've been known to screw things up. It should be 19. I think I added a little bit of wiggle room, so we'll say 19 1/8. And that's 19 and like 3/16, we'll say. I can live with that. This slapstick just slapped its last slap. Yeah, I know. I'm sacrificing the slapstick to use for the face frame, but don't worry, I still have the sleigh bells. It's too heavy. whenever installing rack rails, I like to space them from the top a bit, so I have this hacksaw blade that I'll use as a spacer. And also I like to recess them in a little bit, so I have these 2 pieces of 1/8 inch plywood that I'll use as spacers. So now with that done, I can struggle to load this thing up by myself and take it to Bryce's to install the legs. So here we have the Flexispot Electric Height Adjustable Standing Desk Frame Pro Series. Once we get this together, you'll see it in action, but with this frame, you can raise or lower your desk to sit or stand. It has 3 programmable memory presets, plus you can set an alarm to alert you when you've been sitting for too long. We thought the black frame would look the best in our case, but it also comes in white or gray, and the whole frame is adjustable to fit multiple size desktops should you need to build a custom sized desk to fit in your space, and best of all, it's simple to put together and easy to install. Alright, we got the frame assembled. We should have the desktop on now, but first we want to check this thing out. Yep, let me just send an email real quick. Should I lay on it?
No.
After assembling the frame, you just screw it onto the desktop and plug everything in, and then you're set. So because of that, I gotta say that this is the easiest desk I've ever built. So if you want to check out this Flexispot desk frame for yourself and get one at a discount, you can follow the link down in the description. Got a slight issue. Bit's a little long. So there is the completed desk. I mean, it's still kind of empty and there's cables everywhere, but that's for Bryce to deal with. My job is done. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of jealous and wish that my desk could raise up and down. But the beauty of having a standing studio desk is he can now record his bass and guitar tracks with ease while standing, and then go back to sitting while mixing, or he can stand while mixing, whatever he feels like. But once again, this is by far the easiest desk I've ever built, so if you want a price breakdown and material list, all of that is down in the description, and if you want to see how I built my desk, which is totally different than his, then you can click the cards on the screen. If you're new here and made it this far into the video, I hope that you subscribe, but more importantly, I hope that I inspired you to get out there and build something for yourself.